Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we, which usually means me, we try to make some sense out of the nonsense. Listen, I've told you, you have to make choices in this systematic theology, right? You have to decide, is Jesus coming back again? Is what he said about the end times true, right? Are the things that he said going to happen, right? Now, again, we can argue timing, but you got to make those decisions, right? Then you need to decide. You need to pray. You need to ask the Holy Spirit. You need to be discerning. And you need to say, Lord, is this the end days? Are we in the end days? Should I be being prepared? Now, again, God's not asking you to get prepared so that you can check out of here. He's asking you to get prepared and be telling other people about this, to get a sense of urgency, right? Talking to somebody yesterday who's not on the same spiritual plane that I'm at least in word, right? And they're talking about, they get a sense that things are going crazy. They get a sense that things are winding down, that things are going not so good, right? Again, we've had lots of time in our history where that's happened economically and things like this. Is a whole picture, right? Take a look around at all the different things that are happening. More natural disasters than ever before. More pestilence than ever before. More plagues than ever before, right? More wars, rumors of wars right now than in years past. Not ever before, but obviously years past, right? So we're looking at these things, and Jesus said all of these things are going to be birth pains, which means they're going to happen more and more and more frequently. You got to believe this. Then you got to start thinking about theology. So if you believe all that stuff, now you got to start thinking, all right, there are a lot of people out there who believe in pre-tribulation, right? They believe that we're going to be taken away from here before the 7-year period that God says is going to happens, right? Pre-trib. Right? It's not gonna, don't worry about it, it's not gonna get too bad. You're gonna get out of here. Then there are people who believe in mid-trib. Like, out of the 7 years, you're gonna be here about 3.5 of those years. Right? There are people who believe in the post-trib. You're gonna be through all 7 years of hell, basically. Right? As God allows, right? As God allows this earth to be catastrophically, right? Catastrophically destroyed, really, truly, and all of these different things that Revelation says are going to happen, right? And then you got some people who believe in pre-wrath, right? They believe that, no, whenever God's wrath starts happening, we're not going to be here, right? God's going to pull us out of there. All of that, right, is this whole idea of predetermining when God has to pull us out as based by our understanding. Here's truth. God doesn't have to pull you out ever. He doesn't have to pull you out at all. Right? I just said, once you decide you're not worthy, you got to drop all of that. Right? God's not looking at him and saying, oh, I got to get Andy out of there. Got to get him out before. No, God has a totally different version of death, right? Again, we all have this idea of this peaceful bedside death of people, they just slowly fall asleep, drift off, go into Never Never Land, right? But that's not true. Over the centuries, God has allowed people to die in all kinds of different ways. Not just men, not just women, but also children. They have died in all kinds of different ways. Why? Because God doesn't view death like you view it. It's not a mean, awful, terrible, rotten God to let you die. No, God views that as, let's see, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? That's not my words, right? That's the Bible's words. And so he doesn't view it the same way. So we think that a loving God would never let anything bad happen to us, would never, ever, ever, ever let death happen. What if a merciful God lets death come sooner rather than you having to live through all this? We all want mercy. We all want God to rapture us out of here before the bad things happen, but keep us on this planet with all the other stuff and help us to get through it. Right? Listen, you got decisions to make. If catastrophic things begin to happen at an even more, right, birth-like rate, right, which is quicker and quicker and quicker together, there is a chance that you and I are going to have to live through some pretty tough things. I'm not asking you to change your theology. You pray about it. If God says you're going to be raptured out before, all right. But if he does say that, why are you not motivated? Why are you not motivated to tell people about Jesus and get people moving? If you know that a rapture is coming, and you know that people are going to be taken away in a moment, right, in a twinkling of an eye, if you know all of that stuff, why aren't you telling your neighbors about it? Why are you keeping it a secret? Well, I don't want to offend them. You think saving them from 7 years of absolute nightmarish stuff is not like that's going to offend them? No, if you really believe something, tell people. But if you're one that believes that, hey, we're not getting raptured out of here before all this stuff happens, then you probably ought to be telling people that also. And you probably better be preparing them. Right? I don't know what your statistics. For years now, I've gone around saying to people, according to Revelation, about 4 or 5 billion people are going to die during this whole tribulation period. I just read a book the other day. Again, I'm not saying this is truth. I'm telling you, I read a book where the guy said 90% of people on the planet right now will not make it through the 7-year tribulation. And that's not rapture oriented. He doesn't believe that we're going to get raptured out of all of this stuff. So 90% of 8 billion people, 90% of 8 billion people, you know, that's 800 million people. That's it. All of these other people, he believes, are going to die in some way, shape, or form. So if you're one of those 800 million people, you're somehow won the lottery making it through the tribulation. So we need to look at this whole thing. And my question is, look around you. Look at the chaos all around you. Look at the nonsense all around you. Maybe making some sense out of it is just simply telling people about Jesus. But you got to step by step go through this process. You got to step by step decide, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this, and therefore I'm going to act upon my belief. You don't get to just walk around and say, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to do anything. Believe something. Decide this day. Choose this day who you're going to serve. Choose this day what you're going to believe and act like it. If you're smart, you're going to be like me, right? And you're going to just say, I'm going to pray like crazy for pre-trib. But I'm going to prep for post-trib. When I say prep, you can save all the money. You can save all the food. You can get all the things you need to make it through 7 years, right? Great. If God tells you to do that, do that. But when I say prep, I mean spiritually. Are you prepped? I want to challenge you with that tomorrow night, right? It's some of the things that God says about Christians, right, during this time period. So I need you to, again, work through this process with me. You decide what you believe in, and if you believe it, would you do something about it, right? If you believe we're going to be here for 7 years, then tell people. You got to get ready. If you believe we're going to be raptured out of here, then go tell people, hey, we're about ready to leave this planet. Get ready, right? You got to get ready so you can go with us. Either way, you know what your response is? Go tell people. You want to make some sense out of the nonsense around here? Go tell people about Jesus. Get them connected. Hey, listen, we're going to leave it right there. We'll talk to you tomorrow night as we continue this little series that we're on. See you next time.